going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. Real quick, if you're watching this video on the day that it goes up, hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are enjoying and spending your holiday in true fashion. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a bootleg vinyl haul covering all of the bootlegs that I have acquired within the past several months. And I really wanted to do this haul by the end of the year. That way, nothing that I bought this year in 2020 gets overlapped into 2021. That way, you guys are all up to date on my bootleg vinyl finds. Now, most of these came from RollinRex.com, and the others came from local record stores, as well as some eBay auctions that I won. It's about to go deep, so enough of the chit-chat. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the latest bootleg finds. First up is Pink Floyd's Zabriskie Point. Now, this release brings together some of the material that the Floyd were working on for the soundtrack to the film Zabriskie Point during the tail end of 1969 going into 1970. And I guess you could say that this is a pirated release, since all of the stuff on this bootleg was in fact released as part of the early years box set, but, you know, I want it on vinyl. But we actually do have some songs from the soundtrack itself, such as Heartbeat, Pygmy, Crumbling Land, as well as the country song. And then we have some other tidbits, such as the Violent Sequence, which is an early version of the main chord progression of Us and Them. We have the various auto scenes, various love scenes, all kinds of stuff on here. Now, I love how the artwork on this is reminiscent of the Nice Pair compilation, as well as some of the other Floyd boots that I have called In the Beech Woods and The Narrow Way, which coincidentally includes stuff from the early years box set, so I suppose this is like another installment in the series of sorts. And this also comes pressed on blue vinyl with a nice complimentary pink label, which does indeed look very sharp. Next up is Queen's Tokyo. You've Got a Beautiful Smile, But Tonight We Rock. This was recorded during the band's first Japanese tour in 1975 during the Sheer Heart Attack touring cycle. It is an audience recording that does sound quite well. You are able to make out the performances and everything, but unfortunately it is not the full show. It just covers the beginning up until Son and Daughter before Brian May's guitar solo. But what is cool about this show is that we get to hear some awesome live renditions of stuff that didn't regularly appear in the early Queen live set, particularly tracks from the band's first album, such as Great King Rat and Doing All Right. The band is absolutely killing it at this show, and this bootleg is packaged very nicely with a nice photo of the band on the front. And then on the back, we have Freddie in his classic Zandra Rhodes outfit. And this pressing comes on a very vibrant piece of marbled green vinyl. And then we also have some very nice custom labels as well. Next up is a really special one, and that is Led Zeppelin, A Memory Frozen Forever. This show from Berlin, Germany on July 7th, 1980 was John Bonham's last ever show with Led Zeppelin. So this is very much a historical document to have. This was from the band's short tour of Europe that they did in 1980 before they were to embark on an American tour that same year, and they got together for rehearsal. Bonham had drank too much during the day. He passed out, and basically the rest is history. But one of the cool things about the show is that it is primarily a soundboard recording, which is quite surprising given the circumstances of this show ultimately. And there's also a couple of audience sources mixed in as well, which kind of rounds off the recording a bit. And overall, it sounds really, really great. And this was put out by a label called Casino Records. They are one of the best bootleg labels out there. They package their stuff beautifully. And as you can see on the resealable bag, it is indeed limited to 350 copies, and I have copy number 149. This comes in a triple gatefold sleeve with photos as well as liner notes. And inside, there is a double-sided insert, which has this kind of custom designed tour flyer. But on the flip side, this was the actual tour poster for that European tour. And this comes on 3 LPs, and it's pressed on gold vinyl And on each of the records, there's different kind of color variants of the man from the tour poster, which is pretty cool. Next up is Black Sabbath Lords of Doom. Now, this brings together various studio outtakes and alternate versions from the first 4 Sabbath albums. We have early run-throughs of Black Sabbath and the Wizard. There's early versions of Planet Caravan, Children of the Grave, and Sweetleaf, which feature alternate lyrics which are interesting to hear. Now, these outtakes can be found on the deluxe editions of the first couple of Sabbath albums. They come available on double CD or double LP configurations, and I absolutely love the phrase on the bottom of the back sleeve, and it says, "You can only trust your family and the first 4 Black Sabbath albums." Ain't that the truth? Now, this pressing that I have does come on red vinyl, as you can see here, which matches the text of the front cover quite well. Next up is Pink Floyd's The Dark Side Over London. My best friend Chelsea got me this when we visited Sky Valley Records over the summer. This is a recording of their rendition of Dark Side of the Moon, recorded live at Earl's Court on October 20th, 1994. This was the show that was recorded for the Pulse concert video, and it was also broadcasted on the BBC, so the source is one or the other, and regardless, it sounds absolutely fantastic, and it's one of the nicest sounding bootlegs in my collection. Packaged very nicely with a variation of the Dark Side album cover, and the back features the circular screen lit up, and it comes on black vinyl. Solid bootleg all around. Next up is Ozzy Osbourne No More Tours 2. This is a live recording from the Prince of Darkness's last tour, and who knows if he is going to get back out on the road and if there were any shows that were professionally recorded for posterity. So if there isn't, we do have this release. It is an audience recording that does sound decent, but it is unknown what show it's from. But the set list on this is absolutely fantastic. It is a great blend of Sabbath and solo stuff that covers his entire career. The packaging on this is absolutely awesome. It comes in a nice glossy sleeve with some really awesome photos, and as you can see, this is indeed limited to 500 copies, and I have copy number 139. This does come with 2 nice glossy printed inner sleeves with some cool photos, which you can see there. Very nice. And it's a 2 LP set, and the records themselves come pressed on sort of marbled gray vinyl, which looks absolutely sharp. Next up is Iron Maiden's The Assassin. I got this one at Sky Valley when I did the record store vlog where I spent some birthday cash. This is basically a compilation of various covers and live B-sides from singles that came out from the No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark albums. We have covers such as Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin, I'm a Mover by Free, and Space Station No. 5 by Montrose. And then the live stuff comes from the Wembley Arena show from 1990. We have some live cuts from the No Prayer album, such as Tail Gunner and Holy Smoke. It's a rather interesting release that brings together some of those various recordings from the early 90s, all under one umbrella. So if you are a Maiden fan that digs this era, you will love this release. Next up is Ghost in the Beginning. Now, the contents of this particular release is stuff I have been wanting to get my hands on for the longest time, and I suppose it can be considered a grail of sorts, because this bootleg focuses on the early opus eponymous era of Ghost, which was their first album, and it features the 3 tracks that comprise the original Ghost demo tape, which came out around 2009. There's also the original single version of Elizabeth, which basically stems from the same demo session, and then we have Ghost's second ever live performance. However, it was their first booked performance at the Live Evil Festival in Camden, England around October of 2010. Just a great snapshot of the beginnings of Ghost in general. This was put out by a label called Discotron. They packaged their stuff very nicely, colored sleeves along with printed inners and colored vinyl. This is limited and numbered out of 600 copies, and I have copy number 308. It comes with a printed inner sleeve with some photos of Papa Emeritus 1. And there's the track list as well on the back. And this particular pressing comes pressed on red vinyl, and what I love is that the center label on this side is actually the cover of the 2009 Ghost demo tape, so including it here is a really nice touch. Next up is another one from Ghost. This is called Live and In Session. This is a compilation of various radio and television appearances from 2014 to 2019. Some notable highlights on this release are the Deezer sessions from 2015, feature some great renditions of stuff from the Meliora album, and then there is the kazoo version of Zombie Queen from the Sirius XM sessions. It is so hard to listen to it with a straight face because it just comically works so well in its own twisted way. This is another release that comes on Casino Records. Very nice artwork, as you can see here, and this is limited to 350 copies. I have copy number 238, and this pressing comes on sort of marbled white vinyl with some pretty cool custom labels featuring Papa 2 on this side and Papa 3 on this side. Next up is AC/DC's Tokyo in Black. Now, I got this when I got my free copy of Van Halen's For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge from Roland Rex. This dropped around the same time as Ghosts in the Beginning, and I didn't snag it when it first dropped, but when the Van Halen promo was going on, I figured it would be a good time for me to do so. This is a fantastic audience recording from the band's show at the Nihon Sonic-Con Hall in Tokyo back in 1981 on the Back in Black tour, which was Brian Johnson's first tour with the band. Basically features the main portion of the show, not the whole thing, but it is still a great recording and performance. Now, there are two versions that circulate of this particular release. One is the Angus cover, which I have, and then there is the Brian cover, which features Brian Johnson. This is indeed limited and numbered. As you can see there, I have copy number 55 out of 150. This is another release that comes on the Discotron label. Printed inner sleeve here with some photos of Angus. And this particular pressing comes on sort of, I guess you could say it's like a sort of foam green piece of colored vinyl, which does look pretty cool. Last but certainly not least is Led Zeppelin One More Night live in Southampton. Now, I saw this at my local record store, The Rock Shop, when I did some holiday shopping, and I knew that this had to have come in fairly recently because I had never seen this before at the store, and when I saw what show it was, I couldn't leave it there, and it came home with me. Now, if you are a diehard Zeppelin fan, you know what this show is all about. But to those that don't know, this is one of the grails of soundboard Zeppelin live recordings. So the band did a small UK tour in late 72 going into 73. It was the band's longest and last full UK tour because after this, there was only Earl's Court in 75 and Knebworth in 79. And this was almost an end of an era for Zeppelin because this was the last time that the public got to see Zeppelin in this intimate theater type of setting. This was right before they would do all of these sports arenas and stadiums and everything. And this show was professionally recorded for potential use on a live album that Jimmy Page wanted to put out, but he felt that the tapes weren't up to snuff to be used, so then they recorded the gigs at Madison Square Garden, which became The Song Remains the Same, and the rest is basically history. Now, this release isn't exactly the full show. It does exclude Dazed and Confused and Whole Lotta Love, which I can forgive because honestly, this show and performance is just so intimate sounding, you can hear them jiving with the audience, which is an element that got eliminated once they started to play the big places. Now, I'm not sure if this would ever get an official release by Jimmy and the Zeppelin camp, but until then, this is an awesome bootleg to have, and this is one that I could recommend to any Zeppelin fanatic. So there you guys go. That is my bootleg vinyl haul of all of my other bootleg acquisitions in 2020. Now, I will say that upon filming this video, I have received a bunch of other bootlegs by a band that I did a whole dedicated bootleg haul video of, and there will be another one of those to come at some point down the road in the future. And also, since today is Christmas, chances are I might receive some bootlegs as gifts, and once I have accumulated enough stuff to show, I will do another bootleg haul of assorted stuff, so keep your eyes peeled for that whenever it comes. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support this channel, be sure to check me out on Patreon. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.